Hawke, I'm so sorry. I feel like such a fool. I really thought I could do it. It never entered my mind that Corypheus had planted that thought.
You wouldn't have done this if you were yourself.
I should not have been so weak. I'll return to the commander, report on what happened here. Then it's time for me to take the long walk. My gratitude you have, for returning me to myself. I feel like a whole new person.
I said you wouldn't believe me.
When the Seekers arrived at the structure, this prison, it was destroyed. The Grey Wardens were there, but they said an entire unit had been lost. They did not mention this Janica. And now you claim the champion was not only there, but defeated a Magister. One of the Magisters of old.
Left there by the Wardens themselves.
A curious tale. I wonder if there's more to it.
Not yet. If I've learned anything, however, it's that everything catches up with us, sooner or later.
It was awful, Mother. But it's over. Father's work won't haunt us.
But he was there? In the past?
Buying freedom for you, so you could have a life together.
Oh, Malcolm, I can't believe. It's like he's still with us. But it's not true. Not really. He went through so much to protect us. I wish he had shared the burden.
How did the heir to the Amels ever meet a Ferelden apostate anyway?
Oh yes, I've always wanted to hear that.
He wasn't an apostate then. He was a junior enchanter in the Gallows, back when they would perform at the Viscount's functions. I'd always believed mages were grim old men in strange robes, but Malcolm was... He was so earnest, like he really cared about everything he said. He was talking about reforming the Circle even then. We found ways to meet more privately after that.
Did you not want to go to Ferelden?
My parents made it clear that I had no future in Kirkwall with Malcolm. They threw me out, without a silver to my name. And of course, he came from the Circle with nothing. I never realized what he went through just to buy a safe passage.
You were the most important thing to him. You could hear that in every word he said.
I just wish he was still here. I've made such an utter muck of it since he's been gone.
The Blight would have pushed us here no matter what. Father couldn't have stopped that.
He could have kept Carver alive. I couldn't. I can't do this now. It's too hard, remembering a time before we'd lost anything. I don't know what to regret first.
I hope Mother convinces the Viscount to give us the estate.
I will talk to the Viscount about our estate.
I know it didn't work the way you wanted, but... it was brave what you did with Justice.
It was meant well. I don't know if that's enough to forgive me.
Must have been hard for him, being trapped outside the Fade. In a place where no one's like him. I bet he appreciated having a friend.
He did.
Don't get stabbed again by armor today.
I've always wondered, why is every surface dwarf a merchant or a smith?
You left out criminals and hired muscle.
They don't count.
We dwarves are drawn to shiny objects. Sort of like magpies, but with business sense.
You're kidding.
Of course I am. We come to the surface with the skills our ancestors had, Blondie. You think there's a tradition of dwarf woodcutters in Orzammar? Beekeepers? Sailors?
Well, there could be mushroom growers and nug wranglers.
Orzammar will never let those people go topside. Too vital. Also, embarrassing. So, a human, an elf, and a dwarf walk into a bar.
The human says, "You're lucky you're so short. That hurt like mad."
You could have just stopped me, Blondie.
Why waste a perfectly good setup?
You've been an apostate your whole life, then?
Like my father before me? What of it?
Didn't your family consider that dangerous?
There are mages who go their whole lives without ever falling prey to a demon. Many of them, in fact.
And if the Templars came looking for you, that would not be danger enough.
Perhaps there shouldn't be any Templars.
You're so lucky.
How do you figure?
I wish I had a sister and a whole big family. It must be wonderful. You'd never be alone.
It is wonderful. Although it might be better without Uncle Gamlen.
You've probably never met a Dalish before, have you?
I wouldn't know.
I'm sure you'd be able to tell. Dalish aren't much like the elves in the cities.
The smug sense of superiority does give you away.
Certainly your people have stories about the Dalish, no?
My people?
The elves in Tevinter. They must have heard of us.
They've heard. They just don't care.
But if they run away, the Dalish would help them.
You might as well say, if they flew into the sky, they could live in the clouds.
What would they eat in the clouds? There's nothing there but fluff and the occasional bird.
This is why nobody takes the Dalish seriously. You know, you cannot wish the Templars away.
I can try.
Is the Circle here truly so terrible an option?
Do you really have to ask that?
You would be kept safe, from others as well as from yourself. And they would be kept safe from you.
I didn't ask for this.
Nobody asks for their fate.